Hello and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to sharpen your tools, because I imagine a lot of you will buy a tool and then just never think about sharpening them and then wonder why you're having trouble cutting your lino. So it's really important to keep your tool sharpened. So carry on watching and I'll show you different ways of sharpening your tools. So the more traditional way of sharpening your tools are to use whetstone or oil stones. So these are whetstones and you need to keep them wet. And with oil stones you need to keep them in oil. The water or the oil helps lubricate your tool going over the stones. Most people will recognise sharpening stones as being this colour. But these have come into a set, so this is quite a rough block and it goes down to a smoother block. The same principle as with using sandpaper, you start with the rougher one and then work your way down to the smoother one. So I'll just show you how to get started on a rougher stone. So I've got an anti-slip mat and I'm just going to use a tea towel. And this will just stop this from moving about while I sharpen the tool. You probably need to keep dipping it into water to keep it wet. Now your tools, they tend to come in your V shape, where it's made of two flat sides. And then you've got your knife tool, so you've got one flat side. And then your U tools, you've got a bit of a curve. I don't know if you can see that, a bit of a curve. So it's the bevel edge of the tool that you're mainly going to be sharpening. So it'd be the outside of the V, the bevel side of the knife, and the outer side of the U. Don't know if you can see that properly. It's not focusing. Before you get started, it's quite useful to take a marker pen and just colour in the sides that you're going to be sharpening. And then you can easily see when you've sharpened them enough. So, with the stones, you need to keep your tool, so when you're doing the outside, you need to keep your tool as flat to the stone as possible, following the shape of the bevel. And then all you're going to do is just go back and forth. Until you don't see any of your Sharpie pen left on the blade. Or focus, focus. Or just about. So you keep going until it's shiny. And then you do the other side. And then you keep doing that, going down the different grades of the tools. Now for the inside, eventually you will get a bit of a burr. So it's quite useful to get yourself some wet and dry sandpaper. So I got a, and then you can fold it to make a V shape, and very gently try and fit it into the shape of the tool. You just go up. Don't go back and forth. Just go up. And this will get rid of any burr that you've got on the inside. And then keep repeating that process until you've gone down to using all the different grades of stones. If you've got a little bit of lino with you, you can keep checking to see how well you're sharpening the tool each time. So to do the knife, it's the same way as the V. You're just going to be focusing more on this bevel side. So again, you can go with a Sharpie pen. Dip it into some water, and then making sure it's just the bevel that's lying flat on the stone. I'm just going back and forth. Until eventually you remove all of the Sharpie pen. Now for this one, once that's all gone, and again you start to have a bit of a burr on that side, this time you can just lie it dead flat against the stone and just go back. And that would get rid of any burr that you got on there. And again, keep going down to the different grades. Now the U tool, this is where it can become quite problematic, because you can't, with a flat tool, with a V tool and a knife tool, you can keep it fairly flat and there's not much chance of getting it wrong, whereas with the U tool you're likely to damage the shape of the tool quite easily. So again, I'm going to put a Sharpie pen on the edge, but this time, instead of just going back and forth on one side, you need to rotate it as well, so you don't get one side more sharper than the other. This is where a lot of people have trouble, but with practice you can get your tool really nice and sharp with just using stones. So it might be worthwhile practicing on tools that you know that you're not really going to be using that much, just to practice before going on to your really expensive ones. So keep doing that, keep wetting or oiling your blocks. Until you don't see any of the marker pen. And again, you want to go down the different grades. For the inside of the tool, again, you're going to get a bit of a burr. Take some wet and dry sandpaper. This time you want to curve it, fit it into your tool, and just go up. So that's how you use your stones to sharpen your tools. If you don't want to go down the sharpening stone route, you can buy sharpening kits, such as this one. They tend to come with a sharpening block, they're usually made out of wood, and a polishing compound. So this is double-sided, so you've got a flat edge with some U shapes there, and some circular shapes and some V shapes there. So once again, with the tools, you may want to put a bit of Sharpie pen on the side that you're going to be sharpening, like so. And with the flat side, you're just going to use this bit. This looks like it's a bit of chamois leather stuck onto the board. And all you need to do is put a bit of polishing compound onto the leather. And again, as with the stones, you want to keep the tool as flat as possible against the bevel side that you're going to be cutting. And then go back to forth. Until you start to polish up the side. So you see, you're more polishing the tool rather than sharpening them. So you want to keep going. and you want to do both sides. So again, a little bit more compound. Oh, camera shaking. Oh, do a bit near the edge. And again, you want to keep it as flat as possible, but this time just go back and this gets rid of any burr you may create. And keep doing that until you get it to the sharpness that you want. And you do the same with the V tool. So you're going to be using the flat side for the flat edges first. So keep it to the angle of the bevel of the tool. So just go back and forth on each side. And then when it comes to the inside, you're going to flip this over and try and choose the shape that's closest to your tool. Now, the problem with the ready-made kits is that they tend to be, I find they tend to be too big, so you still have to rotate them a little bit. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to put a bit of compound on each side. So, I don't know if you can see properly, but it doesn't quite fit the slight rock. So I'm going to do one side, go back, then flip it to do the other side. So you keep doing that until it's the sharpness that you want it. With the U tool, you do the outside first. So again, we've got two different curves. Obviously that one's way too big, so I'm going to be using this one. Again, this is still too big, so you might find you still need to rock it. So put a bit of compound in there. Just going to go back and forth and slightly rotate it as I go. And then for the inside, again, on the other side you've got these curved domes, and you want to try the one that fits the closest to your tool. So for this one, it would be this one there. So a bit more compound on there. Line it fairly flat. It's a bit small, so I'm going to still rotate it. So I'm just going to rotate and bring it towards me. And you keep doing that until you find they're sharp enough for you. If you want a cheaper alternative to buying stones or pre-made sharpening kits, you can actually make your own. So I've got a bit of softwood here, and what I'm going to do is recreate these. So with my V tool, again you want to have it on an anti-slip mat, so you don't want this flying about. And I'm just going to go in that way and cut into the wood. Turn it around. So you want it about like that. So you're carving out a V shape into the wood. So you know that fits nicely to your shape of tool. And then I'm going to use a metal polish. So this is going to be the same as the polishing compound that comes with the set. So I'll just put a little dollop there. And I'm going to dip it in and just go back and forth into the groove that I've just cut. So not only does this help keep your tools sharp, it also cleans them and protects them from any rust. It's quite useful to have a cloth nearby to keep wiping it, and then you can keep checking it on your lino to see where it's sharp enough for you, and keep dipping it in. Keep wiping and checking. Now to do the inside, I usually pick a corner of the block, and again I'm just going to carve into that corner, so that's now the shape of the inside of this tool. Pick some metal polish up, and I'm just going to go back and forth on the inside. Give it a wipe. And you keep doing that until they're sharp enough for you. And they should be nice and shiny as well. For the U-tool, you want to do the same. So you're going to carve yourself a little groove into the wood. Pick some metal polish up, and then go back and forth. Now, because it's the right shape for your tool, you don't need to rock it. You can just go back and forth. Keep wiping it, and keep going until it's just right for you. And then for the inside, let's see this corner, I'm going to carve for the inside. You see, I don't know if you can see that well enough. That's now a slight curve. Pick some polish up, and then go back and forth. And keep going until it's the sharpness that you want. Now to do the knife tool, you're just going to use the flat side of the wood. So starting with the bevel side, pick a bit of polish up, just go back and forth, making sure you're keeping it at the angle of the bevel. And then for the inside, the outer side, keeping it flat, and then going back and forth. And there you go. So 3 simple ways of sharpening your tools. Let me know how you get on, and happy lino printing and sharpening.